So till yesterday, we have understand what is the variable, what is the variable declaration, what is the variable installation, and how to use the operators, etc., etc. And the Apex first class we have learned why do we need to use the class to store the memory permanently. We can use the class, and we understood how we can write the class with functions and variables, what is the syntax of class, etc., etc. We have learned. So how to use the object creation and how to use the how to call the functions, etc., etc. We have learned, and now we are going to learn. We are going to create one class now. So this is the assignment which we have got on day for yesterday. They're asking to create a class, calculator apex class, which will give sum and multiplication of two numbers. That means this is the class name. Create a class, calculator apex class. That means we can write like this: class apex class. That's it. So first line is this one, and which will give sum and multiplication of two numbers. That means they are saying two variables we need to declare here. So those two variables will be, one is we will give sum and multiplication. That means one is for sum and another one is multiplication. So here we can go with variable declaration. Variable declaration. So, and they're asking two numbers of multiplication and sum. So how can we declare the variables here? With data type and variable information. So if it is if it is sum, if we want to store some value in one variable, so what could be the data type here? Integer. So we can start with integer, and we can give variable name as like weight sum and colon. So here integer is the data type, and this one is the one of the variables. So they asked us to give two variables. One is sum and another is multiplication. So second one is same integer where multiplication. Okay. So first one we have done. We have written a class name and we gave two variable declarations here. Second one, these two numbers we will get it from color of the functions. That means these two numbers information somebody is calling through functions. That means now we need to create two functions here. If it is the just go back to our apex class. In this you can see the class and class name, and after that they'll be having variable, and next they'll be having function. But here to call these two variables, they're asking two functions. These two numbers will get from caller of the functions. So now we should have one function. Function for sum, or else function for sum. So what could be the information for sum? They give some function will return value to caller, not going to print. That means right now don't run void. just skip. So here for function they gave void keyword. So last time what we discussed, what is meant by void? Void means nothing but which is not going to give any result. So whichever you are entering the number, that number will be displayed. So same thing here. For some function, they don't want to give void function. They want to give some written function. They want to give some result. That means, for example, okay, if it is some value in the sense, we need to give first data type. So integer, we need to give one function name. See here, how we start the function here. This is a function name and void. Void in the sense which is not going to give any result. But here we're asking to give result. So we have blend here. Can we have, see here, you can see. If I don't use void and I'm returning a value, what is your guess? Data type we need to mention. So here I'm going to give data type because this is not this is going to give some value. Okay, integer, and I can give function name like make sum, and later here just see the function how we can how we created the function name, and what is this within the bracket. Here also we are giving variables like function parameters. So here, if it is a call a person means in the sense name will displayed, and here mobile number will be displayed. So same way here make sum in the sense we need to have two numbers, right? So without having two numbers, how can we making the sum value? So it's not possible. So we can give
integer,
integer,
well,
okay, and integer
plus,
when number b.
okay,
Okay. So now for function we have written this line. So integer it is showing like data type, and make sum it's a function name. This integer number a, this integer number b, this two numbers will be function parameters. So now give me a minute. So coming to this line in server, how it will be displayed? First thing, so integer where number a, integer where number will, this is index will be created whenever we give like this, and same way we give make sum as well. No, we gave this one, we'll give this one integer make sum. So here, in case if you give variable number 10 and variable number A equal to 10, variable number B equal to 20, then what could be the answer here?
30.
Okay. So automatically it will come. If you give, if you expecting any result with these numbers. So if you give these numbers, this will be the answer, right? So make some value will be 30. So that's what you are expecting the answer in this value. So they are saying some function will return value to a caller, not going to print. So they don't want to write the void there.
Okay.
So that means if we are not giving void result, void keyword there, then we need to go with one keyword called as return that we can see now. So here we gave data type and function name and function parameters. Before we have started we have started the function with that. So now we are going to start the function within this bracket. So in the bracket, what we need to write? Business logic. So business logic, what is the business logic?
Integer A plus integer B
Where
means
sum equal to,
plus when B.
so this is the logic. This logic is correct. That means here,
Where some like some.
so if you give here 30, then automatically this will come, right? If you give here 40, 70 will come. So that means we are getting result from these two values. So while you are not don't want to get the result, then you will go with void here.
Void.
So now whenever you are getting the result, that time you will go with this keyword called as return, then where sum. So now we can see what is the purpose of this return. So here return is a keyword where we can get the value in front of it to the in front of it to the callers. That means here we are calling the function, right? So here this is the variable name, and for this we are giving business logic here. So because of these two numbers, because if you pass any values here, what is the information has to come?
Some.
Yes, if you pass the values here, information has to come like this, and where it will get saved, in where some values it will get saved.
Yes.
Okay, so and here they're asking return where sum. That means whichever result is coming in where sum, it has to display it here. That is what it is asking.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
So in case if you don't want to get any result and if you want to display the same, like here they just want to apply same logic whichever they are giving the name and mobile number. The same thing will be displayed here without without running any code. But here there is a business logic and that answer we are getting it to display it on the screen, and it's going don't want to give any result. Sorry, it's not going to be print anything here. Got it? Till here you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, where sum and multiplication variable in class level. Number A and number B is into function level. I mean, where number A and where number B. Now, where sum and where multiplication also will called as variables. And integer where number A, where number B called as also will called as variable. But these two variables we are declaring in class level itself. Class after class, we are just declared these variables, and these two we are declaring at function level. So now if you declare any variable at class level, these functions you can use it at anywhere. See, now you have used this variable class level, right? Same variable you are using in within the function. Got it?
Yes.
But in case where number if you are not using where sum here, and if you are using within the function, that will be work only within the function. You don't have choice to use that function at anywhere enter the class. How it means, class in the sense it's like central government employees. Function in the sense it's like a state level employee. So state level employee will be having the power within the state. So same like this function, within the function they can do anything.
Okay.
But if you declare any variable in class, those variables you can use it at anywhere. In function level also you can use it.
Okay.
Okay. So same thing for multiplication. So now some function we have done it, and they're asking right now don't run void, just skip. That means they don't want to give any print. So to print the value, what we have to do? System.debug we need to give. So now they don't want to give system.debug. We can see how it
Right.
works. And next function for multiplication.
Okay.
So function for multiplication, and here multiplication function won't return anything. It will just print. So as per their information, we are just started with void. Now we understood the difference between void and return. So here they don't want to give any result here. So the reason, integer instead of integer we are writing void here.
Okay.
Okay, and this, what is this? Make multiplication. This is a function name,
Okay.
and within the bracket,
Variable declaration.
no, function parameters we can call. Variable
Right.
declaration we can tell at the level of class, but here we can
Okay.
call it as the function parameters.
Yes.
Okay, so within the function you gave the business logic here, where multiplication equal to where num c into where number d. Okay, and now they're asking to print the value. So that is the result, system.debug, and where the multiplication answer is where multiplication we give. So function level completed. So for this function you closed here float bracket, and for this function you closed the float bracket here, and class level you started here and you ended here. So till you here you understood, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now to call this function, there are two things will be there. Okay. So before that, we can discuss the topic called as access specifiers. Access specifiers in the sense, now if you want to access this class, we need to have one keyword. How means, for example, if I want to use my Wi-Fi to all the people, what I have to do?
Share the
I need
pass.
to, yes, I need to display my Wi-Fi password and username. Then only other people will be can access it.
Okay.
So if, that means if I on my Wi-Fi, then that will be displayed to others. If they want to access it, they can search for it and they can match it. Then only they can access my Wi-Fi with from their mobile. Okay, so that like that we can use access specifiers. So before that, if you are working any banking project, okay, you are working for one banking project, and you are giving access to the end user. You are working for backend, and you are giving you will be giving a few access to the end user, right? So what are the things you can give the access to end user if they are login
Mm,
from website?
you can read access you can give.
Read access. Next,
Mm,
read access. What are the things you can give the read access?
they can just read anything in the file they can read, but not there is no edit button. If there is no,
Okay, so now
mm,
just understand in this way. In banking project, you will be having few variables and few functions, right?
okay,
And will you give all the things read access for your end user?
no,
Okay.
certain things.
Okay. If it is a variable and function, while coming to the function, if they give function access, what they can be access means they can be access of what is the balance amount is there, and what is the
Mm-hmm.
activation rate, etc., etc. They can see.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give the access of variable, then they can able to edit the amount of their balance. So which
You
one you
can
can give the access to end user? Variable or function?
only function.
Yes, only function you can be giving the access, because if you give access of variable, there are chances to change his account balance, right? So few
Yeah.
things will be restricted. Same
Mm-hmm.
way, how we can do it by from our side. So by using few things. Same way, if you want to if you want to give your Wi-Fi access to somebody else, it will be in on mode. So then only otherwise will other people will be match it. So those things we can call as access specifiers in class.
Okay.
For example, if I use private access specifiers, then this will be used for private. And if I give public access specifiers, then this can be used for all functions. So here you can see the example. If
If we
you
have
give
in the
private,
class,
if you give private keyword, it's like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi has been off in your mobile. That means only few people who knows the who has to access that Wi-Fi, they can access it. If you give public, then that means if you on the data, everyone can be use it, right? So that's how it will be. So coming to real-time scenarios, you will be declare variables in public or private.
it is mandatory, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
you will be declare variables public or private in real-time scenarios. Just now you discussed here. If you are giving public, so everyone can be access it. So variable will be giving private only. That means only specific people will be access that variables. You will be declare functions in public or private. Public. So now we can see how these things will be work in this class. Okay. So can you guide me? How can I uh, go to developer console? Okay. I don't want to disturb you. I'll show you.
Also, Jitana. Let
It's okay. It's okay.
switch to class. Yeah.
So developer console, and we know why we are using this class to store the data memory, sorry, to store the code permanently. So that's the reason we are writing the class here. So do we have any classes? You can see here classes, triggers, pages, page components, etc, etc. So here classes, there is no class as of now.
Mm-hmm.
And for this, what is the class name we are giving?
Some.
This is a class name. Got it? So just go to here, click on new, and give apex class, and it is asking class name. That's it. Class name. Once you give the class name, automatically it is showing like this: public class calculator access. Here, what does it mean? This public? It's a access specifier.
Yes.
So that means everyone can access this class.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not only in this, whenever if you are creating any class,
Mm-hmm.
this that particular class will be start with access specifier, then class name.
Okay.
Okay. So now class is ready with us. Class is ready with us. Now tell me where we can use access specifiers in the functions and variables. So here public we gave. Okay. Next, variables. Do we need to give public or private? Public variable declaration. So we already discussed here.
Right.
Private. So variable declaration, we are giving private. Okay. So these two variables we are giving access specifiers as private. Okay. Next.
Function.
Okay. Function. Function line number 79. So here, what could be the access specifier?
Public.
Yes, public.
Private.
I'm sorry.
Private.
Where I need to write private?
Mm, mm, yeah. No idea, sir.
Wait. Here we are giving public access file in the function, and you need not write anything per business logic. So till
Okay.
here you said perfect only. So next, so function level you give public access. That's enough. And next function where it is.
Void multiplication.
So here you can give public
Private
void,
multiplication.
and 1 minute here in variable name we gave same thing, and function name also we give same thing. So here make multiply we can give. Okay, so now we understood, right?
It's
Access specifiers. This code now we are going to save permanently in class. Okay, so I'm just copying entire this code. And just copy here, pasting it. So all comments I'm removing. So for this function, you start for this class you started bracket here, and function you started here, closed here. You started here, you closed here, and this is a closed one. Okay. So now function is ready. So how can we call this function now? So to call the function, now we have two options. We can call these functions to get the result. Either we can call from another class or anonymous window. So anonymous window, how can we use? You can know. So now we can create object. We can do it. How we can do it? By using anonymous window and another class. So object creation. Why we are getting object creation means to call this function and we can print the data, or else we can get the result. So where can we go for anonymous window here?
Debug, debug,
I'm sorry.
debug,
Yeah.
open.
Okay. So from here we can call this function. Here it's this code already saved permanently, and by using that permanent code we are getting the result by using anonymous window or by using object. So coming to our previous class, step 2, object creation. What they said, first one is class name, and next one is object name, and this one how much memory we required, etc., etc., right?
Yes.
So going back to anonymous window here, class name, and next here we haven't create any object. So object name, we can take object name as calculator apex object equal to new. What we need to give here?
Calculator apex class.
Yes. Okay. So first line you have done it. And what is the next line?
To give the variables.
Okay. So here directly we can give like this. How to get the result here? What we have? Object name and
Well,
function name, function parameters. So what is the function name here? This is the object name, and
so
function name makes sum, and function parameters you can give 10 or 20.
runs
Yeah,
2 minutes.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
and get. Yeah.
Nothing, nothing.
Oh.
So here, as per our previous class, we know how to use the object creations. Here, class name and object name. Next, new and class name we gave. And step three, we gave object name and function name and function parameters. So same thing here we can follow. But if you follow this, you won't be getting the answer. Because in this, first itself they asked multiplication function won't return anything, it will just print. And the result variables you declare in class level, not inside function, okay? And some function will return value to the color, not going to print. And so we are just keeping the void. So here, print here itself we need to do it. Because if you see this function in function you can see system.debug in function level itself. So in function level itself we give. So now to print the value in anonymous window, what we have to do is here object name and function parameters that you give, that's correct. But here you can give what is the data type we are getting it, integer, and we need to give one variable here, right? Like
Yeah. Where
where
some
some answer
ants.
equal to, that's going to be stored here, and system.debug okay. So can we see either it will work or not? Line number 2,
39.
method does not incorrect signature, void makes some for the type integer, integer, okay. Make some function, okay, function name we gave, and you memory number we correct we gave.
ఇందుకే రై క్యాపిటల్ కాదా
ఏంటండి?
నథింగ్
It's
How
internal.
to transform point. Three-dimensional object means
నేను మార్చి మన డిపాజిట్లు పుష్ చేయండి.
Transfer.
చెప్పండి మేడం.
ఒక డౌట్.
చెప్పండి మేడం.
అడుగు.
అయ్యో ఏం వినిపించట్లేదండి.
క్లాస్ నేమ్ మారిస్తే ఫైల్ నేమ్ కూడా మారిపోతుందా మారదా అని అడుగుతున్నారు.
ఏంటి మేడం క్లాస్ నేమ్ మారిస్తే
ఫైల్ నేమ్ కూడా మారుతుందా, క్లాస్ వాళ్ళ ఫైల్ నేమ్ కూడా మారుతుందా?
యా మారుతుంది.
కానీ
సో
అది
అంటే
ఆ
అంటే
చేంజ్
అది ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ కనుక మీరు క్లాస్ నేమ్ మారిస్తే అది మారేది ఇక్కడే, ఫైల్ నేమ్ మారేది కూడా ఇక్కడే.
అవును, కానీ ఫైల్ నేమ్ మారదు కదా. సపోజ్ ఇప్పుడు క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ అపెక్స్ క్లాస్ అని రాశారు కదా,
కరెక్ట్.
దాన్ని క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ క్లాస్ అపెక్స్ అని పెడితే ఫైల్ నేమ్ చేంజ్ ఏమవుతుంది?
సో ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ చేయాలనుకున్నారా?
ఎస్, ఇందులో యా సేల్స్
ఓకే.
ఫోర్స్ లో
ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ అవ్వదు. మీరు చేంజ్ చేయాలన్నా ఇప్పుడు చేంజ్ అవ్వదు అది. మీరు వన్స్ అక్కడ ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్ నేమ్ ఏదైతే ఇస్తారో అదే ఫైల్ నేమ్ కూడా అవుతుంది.
అవును, కానీ ఇప్పుడు నేను క్లాస్ నేమ్ చేంజ్ చేశాను అనుకోండి.
ఓకే.
సపోజ్ ఇప్పుడు ఈ అపెక్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్
ఓకే.
అపెక్స్ క్లాస్.
ఓకే. ఓకే. ఇక్కడ నేను స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ చేస్తాను, చూపిస్తాను కావాలంటే.
ఇది ఇప్పుడు సేల్స్ ఫోర్స్ లో క్రియేట్ అయి ఉంటుందా సార్?
ఎస్,
అవును,
క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ అపెక్స్ క్లాస్ అయింది, సేవ్ అయింది కదా. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇది మీకు క్లోజ్ చేసి చూపిస్తాను. అవ్వలేదు.
దీన్ని మళ్ళీ రీనేమ్ చేయాలంటే
ఏంటండి?
ఇప్పుడు
దీన్ని
క్లాస్
నేను
అపెక్స్
రీనేమ్
రీనేమ్
చేయాలంటే
చేయాలంటే
యాజ్ యూజువల్ మనం రీనేమ్ ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు. ఒక్క నిమిషం చూపిస్తాను అంటే.
నేను తప్పు చేశా ప్రాజెక్ట్
ఏమని?
లో.
ఏంటండి
డిజిటల్
అర్థం?
రివర్ డిజిటల్ రివర్ లో డి క్యాపిటల్ పెట్టి ఆర్ క్యాపిటల్ పెట్టలేదు.
ఓకే.
సో
అప్పుడు
ఆయనేమో
అప్పుడు ఫైల్ నేమ్ చేంజ్ అవ్వదు, బట్ మీరు లోపల చేంజ్ చేయొచ్చు వాటిని. సో ఇక్కడ
ఆయన ఏమంటాడు, రిఫరెన్స్ కోసం మొత్తం నువ్వు తీయంటాడు.
సో
అంటాడు.
ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మీరు చూస్తే ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ అయ్యింది, ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ అయ్యింది, బట్ క్లాస్ ఫైల్ నేమ్ చూస్తే ఇక్కడ చేంజ్ అవ్వలేదు చూడండి.
అవును,
మనం దీన్ని మర్చిపోయాం.
దీన్ని ఏం చేయాలి? మీరు చేయాలంటే ఇంకా ఒకటే చేయాలి. అప్పుడు
డిలీట్ చేసి మళ్ళీ
ఈ
చేయమంటారా?
మొత్తాన్ని కాపీ చేసుకుని నోట్ ప్యాడ్లో పెట్టుకొని సూడో కోడింగ్ లాగా కాపీ చేసుకొని పేస్ట్ చేసుకొని నెక్స్ట్ మళ్ళీ ఇంకోటి క్రియేట్ చేసి దాంట్లో పేస్ట్ చేయండి అంతే.
ఇక్కడ డిలీట్ చేస్తే రిపోజిటరీలో కూడా డిలీట్ అయిపోతుంది
అవును,
కదా.
అవును.
అవును.
అవ్వదండి.
అవదు. రిపాజిటరీ అంటే నీ లోకల్లో డిలీట్ అవుతుంది. నువ్వు మళ్ళీ నీ డెవలప్ బ్రాంచ్ లోకి పుష్ చేయాలి దాన్ని, నీ చేంజెస్ ని.
ఓ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆల్రెడీ మీరు డెవలప్మెంట్ లో పుష్ చేస్తుంటే అక్కడ డిలీట్ అవ్వదు అది.
అయిపోయింది, పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ అయిపోయింది, యాక్సెప్ట్ చేశారు, అన్నీ అయిపోయినాయి. వేరే ఒక ఆయన వచ్చి నేమ్ చేంజ్ ఉంది, చేంజ్ చేయని చెప్పి మళ్ళీ నాకే అసైన్ చేశాడు టికెట్ ని. ఇప్పుడు నేను మొత్తం తీయాలా, లోకల్లో తీయాలా?
మరి కొత్త టికెట్ వచ్చిందా?
నువ్వు అడిగిందని చెప్పు.
ఫస్ట్
చేయాలండి అది.
డెవలప్మెంట్ అంతా నీ బ్రాంచ్ నీ లోకల్లో పుల్ చేసుకుంటావు. నువ్వు నేమ్ చేంజ్ అని ఒక బ్రాంచ్ క్రియేట్ చేసి మొత్తం నీ కోడ్ అంతా అందులో పెట్టుకుంటావు. అప్పుడు నువ్వు ఏమేమి చేంజెస్ చేయాలని ఆ బ్రాంచ్లో చేస్తావు. చేసి పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి నీ బ్రాంచ్లో మొత్తం పుష్ చేస్తావు. నీ చేంజెస్ అన్ని నీ బ్రాంచ్లో పుష్ చేసేస్తావు.
ఇక్కడ మొత్తం మార్చి.
మార్చి పుష్ చేసి నువ్వు మర్జ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ పెడతావు. పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తావు. ఆన్లైన్ ప్రైజర్ ఎవడో ఉంటారు కదా, రివ్యూ చేసి ఏం చేంజెస్ చేసావో ఆ చేంజెస్ మాత్రం మళ్ళీ పుల్ చేసుకుంటాడు. ఎందుకంటే డెవలప్మెంట్ బ్రాంచ్ ఆ క్లాస్ తాలూకు రెఫరెన్సెస్ వేరే ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఎక్కడెక్కడెక్కడ వాడు ఉంటారు. నువ్వు నీ డెవలప్మెంట్ బ్రాంచ్ మార్చావనుకో,
ఆయన ఏమన్నాడంటే ఫైజ్ లో మీరు దాని తాలూకా ఎక్కడెక్కడ ఉన్నారో
అంతా రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవ్వాలి
అవన్నీ
అంటే
అవ్వాలి
విల్ కమ్
అన్నాడు.
త్రూ మరి పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్. ఆ పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ బేస్ చేసుకొని అది మర్చ్ చేసుకొని మొత్తం అన్ని రిఫరెన్సెస్ మార్చుకుంటుంది
అది
డిక్లర్.
మార్చుకుంటున్నా.
అదే మార్చుకుంటుంది.
అది కూడా పెంట చేసా.
ఏంటండి అర్థం కాలేదు నాకు.
నువ్వు
ఒకటి క్లాస్ నేమ్ స్మాల్ లెటర్స్ ఇచ్చాం.
ఓకే అండి.
జావా ప్రాక్టీస్ ప్రకారం ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ నేమ్ క్యాపిటల్ లెటర్స్ అంటే క్లాస్ నేమ్ క్యాప్స్ అని ఇస్తాం కదా.
ఓకే, బట్ ఇక్కడ కేస్ సెన్సిటివ్ ఏం కాదండి.
కానీ వాళ్ళు రెఫరెన్సెస్ అంటే ఫర్ ద బెస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ కోసం అని చెప్పి దే వాంట్ ద క్లాస్ నేమ్ అండ్ ద ఫైల్ నేమ్ టు బి ద సేమ్.
ఓకే, సో ఈస్ దట్ డిప్లాయిడ్ ఇన్ ప్రొడక్షన్?
డెవలప్మెంట్ లోనే అయిపోయింది చేంజెస్ అన్ని.
ఓకే.
తర్వాత ఏం చేశారంటే అది రెఫరెన్స్ సరి రావట్లేదు, ఆ, అంటే కోడింగ్ స్టాండర్డ్ కి సరిగ్గా లేదు.
ఓకే.
ఒకటి అది రీనేమ్ చేసి మళ్ళీ నీ బ్రాంచ్ లో పుష్ చేసిన తర్వాత పుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేయని చెప్పారు.
ఓకే.
అది మొత్తం ఇట్లో చేయడం రాలేదు. మొత్తం ఒక రోజంతా కొట్టుకున్నా.
సో అప్పుడు వాళ్ళు ఒప్పుకుంటారు మన డిప్లాయ్మెంట్ చేసి డెలీట్ చేయాలంటే అండి?
ఒప్పుకున్నాడు.
ఓకే.
అన్ని చేసి ఇక్కడ చేంజెస్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ వస్తుందో
సరే, మీరు
మేము
ఏదైనా డెలీట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఒకసారి కోడ్ మొత్తం నోట్ ప్యాడ్ లో సేవ్ చేసుకోండి సపరేట్ గా.
చేసి సేవ్ చేసి
ఓకే, చేసుకున్న తర్వాత
పెట్టాం.
చేయండి అది.
లేదా ఒక్క స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ కోసం చాలా పెంట అయింది అసలు.
ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మనం స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ చేస్తుంటే రాలేదు ఇక్కడ ఆన్సర్.
అవునా?
ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ స్పెల్లింగ్ మిస్టేక్ చేస్తుంటే రాలేదు మనకి ఆన్సర్.
క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ స్పెల్లింగ్
ఎస్.
అంతే.
ఓకే. సో ఇక్కడ సో హియర్ we gave this function as public, so that is the reason only from anonymous window we can access this function, but these variables we cannot access from anonymous window because it's a private. Same thing we can apply for make multiply as well, but while coming to make multiply, here we need not to go again with object, because in this function level itself they gave business logic and system.debug here. Got it? So directly we can go with, as we discussed day for yesterday, object name and function name and function parameters we can push it. We can push. So here, what is the function name? Make multiply, and object name. This is the object name, function name,
Parameters.
and you can give parameters like 20 and 30. And system.debug already is there within the function, so we need not write. And that's it. Okay, madam. So this is how we can write the class.
Okay. Then what is the purpose of private, sir?
So private in the sense, that's what these variables, they can use it at anywhere within the function, or they can use this. See here, where some we displayed here, right? That's the reason they can use this variable in this function itself. But within this function, if you use this variable without using here, you cannot use another one in another function.
Okay.
So if it is private in the sense, you won't be access this variable. from another method of calling, etc., etc.
Oh,
See,
okay.
from this anonymous window, you can call this function, but you cannot call this variable
Okay.
because of access specifier.
Okay. Got it, sir.
Okay. So by using this, I'll send this code to you and just try with these two lines of code assignment. And now you can understand very easily. Write a code for subtraction, take two values, and those two values also they give
Okay.
20 and 5. And write a code for division, take two values 10 and 4 from anonymous window. But here you'll be getting the problem with second line of code.
Okay.
Function
Yes.
they gave function names also like make subtraction and make division. Hint is for subtraction remove 5 from 20 means you can get 15. It's a simple, we can go with integer data type.
Okay.
But for make division, if you go to 10 and 4, you'll be getting 2.5 answer. So that
Okay.
time data type we can go with double like this.
Yeah.
Got it? So I'll
Yes.
just this I'll send this code to you, and if you are okay, just try this. Tomorrow we can see end of the class. In case if it is not getting it, then I'll show it to you how to do it. And as of now, we know how to run the code by using object and function parameters, etc. But going forward, without using object also, we can call the class. That we can
No.
see tomorrow. By using only word keyword call as static, how we have learned today public, and if yesterday void written we have learned today. So same way we'll be having one keyword call as static by using that word without creating object here.
Okay.
Here we created object, right? Without using object we can run the class.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so take care of your health, madam. I'll
Yeah.
send this recording video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you.